Hey guys, it's Taran and welcome to the On Track channel and to F1 22, my team career mode part number 2 for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If you did miss episode number 1 in Bahrain, make sure you go and check that out because it was a brilliant opening round of the season. Spoilers ahead, because it was Charles Leclerc that came away with the win after contact on lap 1 with his teammate, managing to come from the back and take the win with Hamilton and Russell filling out the podium. Max Verstappen, he finished 4th. For us though, P8 in our very first race on soft tyres, chasing down the cars ahead of us, making sure we get those lasting points, which means we're also 6th in the championship. Getting into things to do for Saudi Arabian Grand Prix though, and we're looking to upgrade the chassis because one of our improvements, the improved energy source cells, actually failed, so we're going to have to repurchase that upgrade, and unfortunately it won't be until after Saudi Arabia. I did also want to do some drag upgrades, but there were only major ones available, which cost over 1,000 R&D points. We didn't quite have the resource points to do that, But anyway, you can see the sort of improvements that we're working on all around the car, trying to move up the ladder. Getting to the in-between races though, and it's some weight training for Piastri, adding a bit more pace to it, making sure he's performing as best as possible, trying to pick up some points. And as you advance, you see you've got a chassis department event to go through, so we'll take a look at that. And it's quite an interesting one where the chassis department would like us to invest in new high tech that allows us to produce more prototype parts in-house. This sort of high-end equipment doesn't come cheap. What are your thoughts? And you've got high cost, medium cost, low cost, and basically it didn't really give me not a drawback, a positive boost for either one, but I presumed it would be kind of morale based. And given 50k wasn't crazily high, I figured I'd go with the high cost. Hopefully, that helps out the team. It means that they're in better shape, really can improve our facilities that way and improve the team in that sense. But back to advancing now, and you can see there the beam wing upgrade on the aerodynamic side comes in, and before we get to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, we have this Pirelli Hot Lap Challenge. So this is around Jeddah, down the sort of back end of the circuit with the hairpin, and you can see there you've got bronze, 97 miles an hour, silver 99, 100.75 for the gold. We'll be looking to try and get as high up as we can, the idea being just to keep the average speed up round the turn. See, it's dropping down to 93-ish, but we start to increase the speed. As we come through the right handle, you can see the finish line just up ahead, and as we cross it, you'll see we just about managed to get the silver in the McLaren, which gets us some extra money and some extra acclaim. So that was the last thing to complete, but with that done, let's get into qualifying for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So here we are then in Q1, and actually after practice, the car felt really, really good. Like we could really throw the car into the turns. I was a little bit worried we wouldn't have too much drag. We'd have a bit too much drag. But anyway, onto the first lap, and it's really just about setting a banker. Tracks like Jeddah, it's very easy to make a mistake. And as we cross the line, it's a 1:31.5, puts us behind Hamilton and Stroll, ahead of Schumacher and Tsunoda. So fairly decent, pretty pleased to have that time on the board. And as you can see, fast forwarding to just a few minutes left, we're left there in 16th place, our teammate down in 21st. So while technically still looking like we're going through, we do need some improvement. And as we cross the line to start our final lap on the fresh soft tyres, we're down in P17. So we are going to need to improve. You see turn 1, we hit that apex pretty nice. Through turn 2, pretty nice as well. And you can already see we've gained a tenth or so through that first sequence of corners. And as we gain more time through the first sector, as we come up to the hairpin, up 2.5 tenths now. But this is going to be it. Qualifying's complete. If we don't improve on this lap, we will be out in Q1. So it's just a case of what we can do. And as we head into the final turn, it's 3.5 tenths, hitting that apex pretty nicely. Not going out too wide, not too close to the wall. 4 tenths, 4.5 tenths almost as we come towards the line. So we're going to improve, but will we improve by enough? That's the question. And yes, we are through P12, through to our first Q2 session. As you can see there, unfortunately, our teammate Oscar Piastri not going through. But on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with that to get through into Q2 on the first try, not bad. Into Q2 then, and we're going to go with some used soft tyres because saving the brand new ones, very fresh ones for the very last run, because we ultimately need the best performance a little later on in the session. And you'll see as we come through turn 2, we exit fine, but just a little bit too much on the gas and tap the wall. Front wing damage, as you can see. But we are going to keep going because we are going to try and complete the lap, and that's what we do. And where we had a 1:31.5 in the first session, You can see it's now 1:32.7, so definitely lost a lot of time, combination of those used tyres and obviously mistake out of turn 2 as well. But it's still a time on the board, which is kind of important. And as you can see, as we go to the timing screens, down in 15th place with a few minutes to go. Funnily enough, Carlos Sainz, no lap time for him, so he's having issues in qualifying. But we're going to hop onto the final run now, midway through Sector 1, and you can see that we've gained a number of tenths through those first corners. Combination of the fresh tyres, not hitting the wall, a big boost for that time. As we head down towards the hairpin, it's over a second. I'll take you through the rest of this lap. Into the hairpin, down into 4th gear, tight on the apex, trying to get on the power as quickly as possible. Qualifying is now complete, so once again, we need to improve, otherwise we're going to be out. Into this right-hander, you've really got to be confident with the car. We're a little bit wide, but we do keep it on the track and we hit that left-hander. Accelerating left through the exit of that turn. Head now onto a little bit of a rest. You've got a bit of a straight. Open up the DRS as you head left and then right, looking for this black marker board for your braking for turn 21. Shift down into 5th again. We run a little bit wide, but keep it in check. Not going over that curve. If you go over that curve, it will spin you out. Onto the final sort of back straight now, opening DRS, constantly moving to the left. And on the right-hand side, we'll be looking for the 100-metre board. 1.6 seconds on the delta, but we brake really late. Try and make up for it then as we head onto the straight. Lose the back end and tap the wall. And just like that, our delta's going down and down and down, where it was 1.6 seconds. As we cross the line, it's 0.4. Will it be enough for us to improve? Can we get through into Q3? No. As you might expect, from hitting the wall, the time just goes down. But we lost about 1.3 seconds. And if you look at that 1:32.3 and you look at 11th Daniel Ricciardo's a 1:31, I reckon Q3 may well have been on if we'd not hit the wall there. But as it turns out, if you gave me P15 coming into it, I think I'd be fairly pleased. So with that, it's on to the race for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the Lower Hejaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar, Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, George Russell and Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, Zhou and Sebastian Vettel, Ricciardo, Norris, Fernando Alonso and Stroll, Tarrant, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Oscar Piastri and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So here we are then on the grid, P15. We've got Lance Stroll alongside us, Sainz just behind. And as we jump into the strategy, the team initially suggests a one-stop, but given what we know the tyre wear's kind of like, we're looking to go for the two-stopper, kind of like we did in Bahrain, where we start on the softs, change to the mediums, and at least give us the options to use the mediums either long or for a shorter stint later on, plus more options if there's a safety car. And another thing to note, as I was on the formation lap, I noticed around us, lots of people on the hard tyres, opened up the race director, and everyone around us is on the hard tyres. We are the only car that's going to start the race on the soft tyres. The only ones not on hards are us and the top three of Leclerc, Verstappen and Perez who are on mediums, which for me, I mean, maybe they see something we don't with the one stop versus the two, but ultimately, hopefully, that's going to give us a really good start. Anyway, lining up, a couple of burnouts on the way to the grid, and we're going to be looking to take advantage of those soft tyres. And as we head down into our grid spot, just 20 metres to go, taking it nice and easy, and actually optimal parking on the grid. So that's a great start for us, making sure we use these soft tyres. But anyway, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's a long hold, but we are underway for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. A little bit of wheel spin off the line, but then in the second phase, those soft tyres really coming through. We fly past Alonso, up towards Norris. Can't quite make that work, but as Norris moves forwards, we take his place alongside Ricciardo on the inside of turn 1. Becomes the outside for turn 2. We're looking to get a good exit and try and drive past the McLaren, but we're side by side as we head down towards turn 4. Is it going to be carnage? Is it going to be chaos? Well, we outbrake him and almost run into the back of Joe, but we've managed to get past Ricciardo, braking late into that turn, meaning we're now up into 12th place. So those soft tyres really coming in useful. You can see Norris and Joe banging wheels up ahead. We can't quite get past as they hit each other, but we are stuck behind Joe for the time being into 12th place. Ricciardo just behind, but as we head down to the hairpin, we've got a really good exit. Joe's up in front of us. Can we make a move into the hairpin? It doesn't look like it. You can see they're going 3 wide up ahead, but for us, it's up into 12th place. A very good opening lap. As we come around the bend, you can see though, there's a little bit of a train starting to form in front of us, and as we go to the front of that train, round this right-hander, you'll see there's Valtteri Bottas with no front wing. He's had damage on the opening lap, and he's holding up the likes of Ocon, Tsunoda, Vettel, Norris, Joe, myself, Ricciardo, Sainz, all of us. You can see there's already over 2.5 seconds between Bottas in 6th and Russell in 5th, as we see Yuki Tsunoda go for a move down the inside into turn 21. Brave move. It's a very tricky place to overtake there. Got to be really confident. And as we go back to us down the main straight, you can see we don't quite have the straight line speed. We're looking to try and get past Norris and Guan Yu Zhou ahead, but unfortunately we don't have the depth on the braking. Norris dives up the inside of Zhou and Vettel. We go a little bit wide, leaves the door open for Ricciardo. We get a better exit though with those soft tyres. Now we've got to run on Zhou down the main straight. We're going to move to the right hand side. You see Bottas comes into the pit lane, and as we go down, we're going to be side by side with Joe. Can we brake late? But it's him that goes up the inside. Ricciardo comes up our inside, so he's side by side with Sebastian Vettel. We're side by side with Ricciardo. It's a 2x2 situation. We managed to get the better exit than Ricciardo as we head down into turn 4, and we're behind Joe as we go through there. So yeah, with Bottas coming in, we're up into P11. At the very start of this race, those soft tyres proven to be absolutely crucial, as now you can see we're right on the back of Joe as he's slow through that right-hander. We get a really good exit, and as we head down towards the hairpin, we're going to move to the outside using the ERS, trying to get alongside as much as we can, braking as late as possible into the hairpin, go a little bit wide, but using the banking, using the soft tyres to force our way round and up into 10th place. So a great opening lap and a half, up 5 places from P15 already into the points. Great start. On to lap 5 then, and as you can see, Vettel slowly starting to pull away. The soft tyres kind of starting to wear out just a little bit. And as you look behind us, we got Fernando Alonso in his Alpine, a little bit out of position at the start, you'd have to say. Coming up behind us, 0.2 tenths, 2.5, so using a bit of ERS, trying to defend. We move to the inside, force Alonso to the outside, brake as late as possible. We've got the inside line, don't quite hit the apex, but it's fine because we've managed to squeeze Alonso, make sure he can't get past. But he's got a decent run. He'll have the DRS as we head down the main straight. Try not to use too much ERS. You can already see it's depleting quite a bit. And we hold him off into turns 1 and 2 in the first sector. But as we head down into the hairpin, we brake a little bit late. We go just a little bit wide. And that allows Alonso to have a little look up the inside as he puts his Alpine alongside us as we're side by side heading out of the hairpin into this quick right-hander. We've just about managed to stick ahead. He's still there though, but through the right-hander, we've got the inside line. We've managed to keep our car ahead and in 10th place for now. But what a great battle we're having with Fernando. And as we move further on to the end of the lap, you can see he's still there. He's not going away with Jeddah with the DRS zones. As long as you stick close, you've always got a shot of overtaking. And Alonso's now coming round the outside. He's closer than he was before. We park our car perfectly, do exactly what we did before. We've got Ricciardo having a sniff up the inside as well, but we managed to keep them both behind. But as we head onto the main straight, you can see there, Alonso's right behind us. He's a bit closer. He's closing with the DRS. We put our car right in the middle. He's going to go to the outside. But as we brake for turn 1, we're a little bit deep into the corner. Allows Alonso through. We managed to close the door on Ricciardo, though, so we have lost a place to Fernando Alonso right there. We're down to 11th. Moving to lap 10, and you can see Alonso, he's now moved up ahead. He's trying to make a move on Tsunoda. And they're sort of squabbling, which has brought us right up to the back of them. We try and get a good switchback, almost get blocked by Alonso. Try and make it 3 wide, but we don't quite. We're not quite able to. However, they're side by side through turn 4, so we hold back. We know they're going to be slow because it's hard to fit 2 cars through there. And as you can see, that's just what we've done. We've got a good exit and we're going round. And as they head through the right, Alonso's onto the curb. He's a bit slow. We head round the outside of Fernando Alonso through Sector 1. What an opportunistic move if we can make it stick, and we do. And so we're back up into P10. Fernando Alonso's down behind us. You can see Ricciardo's now having a go at him around the outside of the hairpin. But Alonso is going to hold on. He has a wheel up the inside of us, but we are ahead far enough to keep that position. So it's P10 for us on lap 10. And a good little battle with Fernando, taking advantage of him trying to get past Yuki. But as I mentioned, we come to this back straight. We'll see it time and time again. We don't quite have the ERS or the just general straight line speed to really compete. As Alonso goes down the inside this time, we brake fairly early, trying not to get ourselves stuck on the outside, try and get a good exit through the final turn. We've got ERS, we've got DRS, but so does Alonso. So at the detection point, he must have been within a second of Tsunoda. But we've got a better run out with him this time. We've got the slipstream. So we're going to move to the outside. We're going to brake as late as possible. Can we go around the outside? We go a little bit deep again. And so Alonso stays there. We've got Albon now on our outside in the Williams, forcing us to go a little bit to the inside. We managed to stay ahead though, but he's still there. Is he going to come up the inside of turn 4? No, not quite. So we managed to stay ahead of Albon, and you can see how much space we've lost to Alonso. And talking of Albon, look behind us, Daniel Ricciardo. He's now coming up to the Williams driver. We can see us there in the foreground. They're side by side into turn 1, almost running into the back of us. We've got to make sure we avoid them. But they're side by side through turns 2 as well. Ricciardo on the outside. And then Albon on the inside, which becomes the outside for turn 4. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these two can get ahead and get up into P12. Albon still on the inside, still holding it side by side, but it looks like Ricciardo is going to just be able to keep ahead as he forces Albon onto the curb, so he's a bit slow. But a nice move there from the AI, nice move from Ricciardo, some good side by side battling. So it's us in 11th, Ricciardo in 12th, Albon in 13th. And as we head now onto lap 14, you can see the gap to Ricciardo's come down a lot as we head towards this final turn. He's going to fly by us up the inside. There's not too much I can do there. I don't want to waste the ERS if they're just going to get past easily. But we try and get a good exit. We run a little bit wide through the final turn. And as we head down the main straight, you can see we decide coming into the pits, the tyres really going off at this point. It's easy for the cars behind us to catch us. So yeah, we decide to come in, done with these soft tyres. They lasted 14 laps, 15 laps, and we're going to change them. It always feels like an absolute age coming down the pit lane all the way to the end. Our team very late coming out. Will it be a good stop though? Take off the softs, put on the mediums as we said with the race strategy. Good stop overall. I was tempted to go with the hards, but I've decided to go with the mediums. And as you can see, where did it put us? Kind of come out P20 on the racetrack. So we've dropped a lot of places, but we have made our pit stop now. And so now it's just basically a case of the best times that we can put in on these medium tyres. On to lap 18 then. As you can see on the fresh softs behind us, Pierre Gasly's managed to catch up. He's just 3.5 tenths now behind us. And as we head through the right-hander and the left-hander, he's even close. He might have a run into the hairpin. But safety car, we've got a safety car. Safety car's been deployed. And so that's going to neutralise everything. And if we take a look, I'm wondering what's caused this, because no one's out of the session yet. But we're going to hop on board with George Russell in 8th place. He's closing up to Sebastian Vettel ahead. And as they head through the right-hander and then the left, he gets on the curb a little bit and just chucks it into the wall. Front wings come off, debris kind of flown off. So while he's not out of the race, there's a lot of debris on the circuit, which has caused the safety car. And basically, at this point, you know, I'm heading along. Lots of people have dived into the pitch. You can see on the mini-map and the timing tower on the left. I'm not quite sure where we're going to come out. It's going to be important to try and jump as many cars as we can, given we're on mediums, they're on softs, and we do just about get up into P11. A little bit cheeky on the Delta there, because we've basically gone as quick as we can through that section, but we'll earn it back now and we'll be fine. So yeah, at this point, I'm not quite sure if it's been good for us or not, simply just because obviously everyone else has got a free kind of pit stop. And I was taking a look, and what you can see has happened is all those guys that started on the hards have switched to a 2-stop with the soft tyres. So yeah, still not sure if it's benefited us or not with this safety car. On to lap 22 now, and the safety cars come in, and we're on the back of Yuki Tsunoda here. We haven't quite got the jump that we might have wanted to. You can see on the tower there, everyone around us is on the soft tyres. George Russell up ahead, dives up the inside of 2 cars. Kevin Magnussen dives up our inside. Means that we get forced to go round the outside, becomes the inside on Tsunoda. And somehow we've ended up overtaking Tsunoda, and we're up into 10th place. A very opportunistic move for us, and we've got Alonso up ahead of us. So at the restart, we've gained a position, taken advantage of the track, and you can see Magnussen's actually up ahead of Tsunoda as well. As we fast forward a little bit, you can see here, looking at the Red Bulls up ahead, remember they were on the mediums with Leclerc. Leclerc came in during the safety car. The Red Bulls didn't. They waited until after the safety car to not only come in, but double stack the cars as well. So they're going to lose so many places, lose so much time. You'll see Perez will just be waiting there to try and come in. As you can see, that he's going to be jumped. Verstappen's coming down the pit lane, and he's going to come out there in 19th place, it looks like. Only the cars in the pit lane behind him. But jumping back on board with us, lap 26 now, and you can see up ahead, it's Alonso and Norris fighting. And actually, if you look at where we are position-wise, given all these cars that have come in after the safety car, we're now up into 4th place, with Piastri in P5. So in our second race, we're running 4th and 5th. And you can see that I was shocked. I had to take a little look. And basically what's happened is people around us have just decided to come in for stops. But anyway, lap 26, so we're following this Norris-Alonso battle into the final turn, with Alonso going to the outside. Norris is there on the inside. Norris has the inside line. He's going to make sure Fernando can't get past. But Alonso will have the DRS as they head down the main straight, looking to see what happens between these two. You can see us there in the background. We're just over a second away, but now Alonso pulls to the outside. Norris on the inside. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Can Alonso hold it round? Norris gives him the room. Bit slow on the apex for Alonso, but Norris is still there, just about squeaking ahead with his McLaren. He's got the inside into turn 4. Alonso's back at him though, holds it round the outside, two keeping it clean, and that's brought us right back into this. You can see us there right behind these two. Their squabbling has closed the gap from what was a second to 3/10. Alonso's slow. We try and do what we did earlier in the race and go around the outside, but we can't quite do that. So for now, it's going to be Norris there in P2, Alonso in 3, us in 4, Piastri in 5th. Leclerc is a mile away into the lead. We have a little look up the inside of Alonso, but nothing doing there. And so we're just going to stay as we are in P4, which honestly, I'm happy enough to be running here at this point in the race. And as you can see on lap 28, so 2 laps later, Alonso's come in, then Norris comes in as well, which leaves us to take over P2 in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. There's only 21 laps to go. We're in P2, and I'm thinking, can we take the mediums to the end? Is that a possibility? On to lap 30 now, and you can see we're just running on our own. A lot of clear air, given we're on a basically different strategy to everyone. But as we just hop back a little bit, look who it is fighting each other in Saudi Arabia. I feel like we've definitely seen this one before, as Lewis Hamilton is within 0.2 of Max Verstappen, heading onto the back straight. He's going to have the DRS. Remember, the Red Bulls, they came in after the safety car and put the hard tyres on, whereas the Mercedes are there on the mediums. Hamilton goes to the outside, Verstappen covers the inside, almost making contact on the front tyres. As side by side through the exit, Hamilton's got ahead, but who's got the DRS? It's Max Verstappen with the DRS down the main straight. We remember the games of DRS chicken they were playing in real life. Verstappen's ahead by turn 1, and so on lap 31 now, he's going to maintain the lead, maintain P3 ahead of this battle, ahead of Hamilton, but he's still right there. And as is the case with Jeddah, if you can stick with them through the Sector 1 and Sector 2, along this back straight and along the main straight, you're going to get the DRS and you're going to get an opportunity, and that's exactly what we're seeing, as Hamilton once again with the DRS tries to go to the outside, but Verstappen covers it off. He has a little wobble, almost loses the car, but manages to hold it. This time he's behind through the corner, but it means he will have the DRS as they head onto the main straight, where Verstappen had it the time before. It's now with Hamilton. Verstappen covers the middle. Hamilton goes to the outside. We saw this in real life. Hamilton goes round the outside. Will they keep it clean through turn 1? It looks like they will. Side by side, Hamilton's trying to force his way through, but Verstappen's holding his own round the outside on the harder tyres. He's now got the inside for turn 4. It looks like he's got the better run, but through turn 4, they're still side by side. Holding on the outside is Hamilton, which becomes the inside. He's just squeezed his Mercedes through into third place, ahead of Max Verstappen. Some great battling between the two world champions. Great to see, and you can see just in the background, George Russell starting to reel them in, starting to get closer as we head on to lap 32, and this time, part number 3 for the Hamilton-Verstappen battle. This time it's Verstappen behind with the DRS as they head down. Where's Hamilton going to go? He looks like he's covering the inside. It's exactly what he's doing. Verstappen forced to go to the outside as they head around the final turn. Hamilton further enough ahead, though, to keep him behind. But Verstappen, as they head on the main straight, you can see us in the background there. Verstappen's going to have the DRS as they head down the main straight. Hamilton slightly ahead. Verstappen goes to the outside. Are they going to be side by side into turn 1? No, Verstappen has the straight line speed to just fly by. He's back up into P3. All the meantime, this is just buying us time to set some lap times and not have to, deal with other cars fighting around us. We can concentrate on our race. But I'm focusing on George Russell because, as you can see, he's closed up to the back of this battle very nearly. He's within a second. So he's also going to get DRS this time round, along with Hamilton, who's still on the back of Verstappen. This battle's going on lap after lap. I think it's at 4 or 5 laps now. Hamilton tries to go to the outside. Verstappen covers him off, but it means that onto the main straight, they're going to have the DRS. You can see us there. They're closing the gap in. It's 2.2 seconds now as they head down the main straight. Hamilton with the DRS this time, closing on Verstappen, heads to the outside. Verstappen covers the middle of the track. They're going to be side by side into turn 1. And again, like we saw just a couple of laps ago, Hamilton trying to force his way through. Verstappen holding his own on the outside and just about managing to stay ahead in terms of by a nose. But as they head down to turn 4, it's still side by side. There's a carbon copy of what we saw, but this time George Russell, he's also there. He's right up the back of Verstappen now. So the two Mercedes basically ganging up on the Red Bull to try and take P3 and P4 in this race. Hamilton's got through, but can Russell do the same? That's the question. As they head down towards the hairpin, he's right behind him, moves to the outside. Is he going to have a look around the hairpin? He can't quite manage it. Verstappen covers him off. And as we head on to lap 34 now, back towards the end of that lap, you can see onto the back straight, Hamilton's got a bit of breathing space, but not much, and Russell is right up the back of Verstappen. They'll both be closing in on Hamilton, and into the final turn, Verstappen dives up the inside. Contact made between the front left of Hamilton, the front right of Verstappen. Hamilton stays ahead. Russell's right there too. That Verstappen tried to go up the inside into the final turn, didn't quite work out. You know that Red Bull's got great straight line pace though. Can he make a move down into turn 1? It doesn't look like he's quite close enough. So Hamilton on this occasion on his medium tyres manages to stay ahead of the Red Bull. And as we go towards the end of the lap, you can see focusing on us because they have now just caught right up to the back of us. And it's 15 laps to go. You remember we took the soft tyres 14 laps at the start. And so for me, I'm going to come in at the end of this lap. I don't want to get involved in this Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell fight in any way at all. So we're going to dive into the pits. It's about time anyway to put on some soft tyres to head towards the end. So yeah, it's just a case now of how far down the order for us are we going to drop. We're currently in 5th as those 3 go by. We were in 2nd, dropping down. You can see cars just slowly moving their way past. We get to the pit stop and it's a bit slow on the back right. They're slow getting the tyre and that's going to cost us a little bit. And as we head finally out of the pit box, we're already in 15th. Ricciardo goes by 16th. You can see 3 cars fighting there as it's Perez involved in that as well. And it's really crucial. We get out ahead of them and we just about managed to. So we're just ahead of Stroll, Schumacher and Perez. Really crucial for us because now we can just use the new tyres to try and chase down the cars ahead of us. We don't have to worry about fighting those that have just come up behind. So there's 14 laps to go. It's all about seeing how far up we can get. On to lap 37, and as I mentioned with those soft tyres, we caught up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo. As we head down towards the final turn, we've got DRS. We don't quite have enough on the ERS. We try and go to the inside, don't brake late enough. Ricciardo locks up a little bit, runs a little bit wide through the corner, which means now that as we head onto the main straight, we have a good run. We've got DRS, we're using up our ERS, we've saved the battery very well, and so we fly by on the right-hand side. I don't think it's even going to be a contest into turn 1. We've made the move down the main straight, hitting the apex nicely on turn 1 and turn 2, and we're up into P15. You can see Norris and Tsunoda battling up ahead, and hopefully that will help us to join that fight. And as you can see by the end of the lap, it is the case. We've caught up to the back of Tsunoda. We're gaining on them. He gains on Norris. Tsunoda's going to move to the outside. There's no real space for us, so we just kind of hold back a little bit. Try not to run into the back of Tsunoda. Try and get a good exit as we head down the main straight now, focusing on trying to get past both of these guys, because it's going to be really important to clear them as soon as possible. So we head down. Tsunoda's ahead of us. He heads to the outside. Norris is on the inside. We try and make it 3 wide, but they just don't have enough closing speed. But through turns 1 and turns 2, they're side by side and slow. We get a good exit, which means we're 3 wide as we head down towards turn 4. We know that 3 into 1 doesn't go. Is it going to be tears? Well, Norris kind of backs out a little bit. We go wide. We go off the track and head past Tsunoda. Because we head off the track, we do let him back through, making sure we don't let Norris through at the same time. You can see Ricciardo's now here. He's trying to get involved in this 4-way fight for what is currently P13. But at the moment, it's Tsunoda leading the way from us, from Norris, from Daniel Ricciardo. What great racing, trying to make an opportunistic move, switching back up the inside of turn 2 and then 3 and into 4. And as you can see on lap 40, we're going to focus now on our teammate who's just a little bit up the road. You can see our gaggle with Tsunoda in the background. But Piastri's going side by side with Alonso into turn 1 and into turn 2. We can see the rookie, our teammate, holding his own. He's got the inside. He's managing just to get ahead of Alonso. But Alonso really still right there as they head through the left-hander. But great to see some great racing from Piastri. As you can see, he's holding on to P11. Alonso, though, into the hairpin's going to have a look up the inside. Remember, he did this with us earlier in the race, and with that inside line, he's just managing to squeeze past him, is he? But Piastri is still there, still ahead as they head towards these swooping turns into the quick right-hander. Who's going to come out ahead? It looks like it's just going to be Fernando Alonso, who gets past our teammate Oscar Piastri. And for us, that's, again, the fighting has meant that we've closed up to them as well. As you can see, what was 4 cars now is sort of 6 cars all there. Piastri's having a go again, though, on Fernando Alonso as he gets past into the final turn using the DRS well. But it means that as they get onto the main straight, Alonso is going to have the DRS as they head down towards turn 1. Can Piastri hold him off? He's going well, he's going nice, he's in P11. Alonso there, as you can see, is he close enough to make a move? No, it's not quite. We try and make a move in the background. Tsunoda almost hits the back of Alonso, but Piastri manages to just about stay ahead. And as we move to the end of that lap now, Alonso has the DRS down the back straight. Piastri's covering the inside. Alonso's going around the outside. They're going side by side into the final turn. Piastri on the inside, and there's contact between Alonso. He just nudges Piastri, and that's big because, as you can see, as they head past the pit lane, Alonso's coming in, so he's damaged his car enough that he feels like he needs to come in, which elevates us into P13. Tsunoda goes to the inside on Piastri. Is he going to make a move as well? Those two are side by side. We've seen it so many times this race. And there's debris on the track, and it's Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly is in the wall. What's happened there? Just as we go through turns 1 and turns 2, we're going to take a look. Gasly's on the inside. He goes up the inside of Joe. Makes contact there. Lost his front wing. Oh, it's a mechanical, not mechanical. It's a power unit failure. And as he tries to pull over, he's knocked by Kevin Magnussen. So a bizarre kind of incident. But Pierre Gasly is out of this race. And you can see on the little board on the right, virtual safety car has been called, and just a very unexpected incident really. As you can see, we almost run into the back of Tsunoda during the VSC, but the VSC will be coming to an end. And can we close up the gap to Tsunoda? We're doing a good job. We're right on the back of him, making sure we keep the delta positive. It's green again. DRS is back enabled with the VSC stopping. Next up is turn 21. You can't really make a move, although Tsunoda did make an amazing one on Bottas earlier this race. But as we head into the back straight now, you can see Piastri's leading this train. We've got a double slipstream on them both. We've got the DRS and the ERS. Tsunoda moves to the outside. We're trying to go to the inside. To the outside, there's just not the room because they're side by side. We let them head into the final turn, brake late. We try and get a good exit and a good run, and that's exactly what we've got. Remember, we're on the fresh, softer tyres. They're still on the older mediums. We try and go to the inside, but Piastri's there. Tsunoda then on the outside of Piastri, and we're going to make it 3 wide with our teammate down into turn 1. We swoop round the outside, which becomes the inside for turn 2. Tsunoda and Piastri are still side by side as they head out of turn 2 into turn 3. So we've managed to get past them both into P10, and Piastri behind us, he's there into P11. He's still side by side with Tsunoda though. It's some great racing, not just from myself, but from the entire on-track F1 team. Piastri managing to get past Tsunoda, and just like that, we're running P10 and P11 in this race. What a great show from the on-track F1 team. On to lap 49 then, and as you can see, we're just chasing down Bottas, but there's some yellow on the track, and as we head through this right-hander, what we'll see pop up on the screen is Charles Leclerc is out of the session, and we'll take a look at what's happening because he was 46 seconds in the lead, lapping Mick Schumacher. Schumacher moves over to the right, and Leclerc just runs into the back of him and breaks his car. He's crashed into Mick Schumacher as he's tried to lap him. As I said, he had 46 seconds. It is a final lap for Leclerc because he's so far ahead. It's the biggest bottle job I've ever seen on the F1 game. You can see we take an on-board look. So much time to Verstappen behind. Schumacher moves over to the right. Leclerc tries to sort of go around the outside. So Schumacher's got nowhere to go and he just runs into him. Loses the front wing, but then that ends up being enough to DNF the car apparently, as he must have had enough damage. But for us, as we head on to lap 50, we're trying to close up to Valtteri Bottas, and with Leclerc's retirement, it means that Max Verstappen is the race winner. He managed to get back past Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz just behind takes second place and the fastest lap. But we're chasing down Bottas and Magnussen into the final corners. We're looking like we're a little bit far back. but Bottas and Magnussen go side by side into the final turn. Magnussen trying to hold on to P7, and they make contact. There's a bit of front wing end plate that comes off. Can we take advantage though? It doesn't look like we have the tyres left. But anyway, it's going to be P9, P10 for Piastri as well in our second race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So as you can see, they're on the podium. Max Verstappen in first place. Carlos Sainz takes second with Lewis Hamilton in third. So Sainz has made an amazing recovery. But the big story, Charles Leclerc throwing away what was the most dominant race win I've maybe ever seen on my team. But anyway, yeah, Red Bull take advantage, manage to get their car back past the Mercedes and the Ferrari to take first place in a well-needed win. And as we take a look at the final result, then you can see Verstappen 1, Sainz 2, 4 stops for him. Russell and Hamilton in third and fourth, Ocon, Joe, Bottas, Magnussen all filling out the places. And we're there in P9, P10 for Piastri as well. So it's a double points finish for the team as we pick up 3 more points. Heading further down, Perez, he's had a shocker, not through his own fault though. The team just pitting him, double stacking him behind Verstappen. He was fighting cars that whole race. But as we head further down, Charles Leclerc, what should have been and what could have been, absolute heartbreak, disappointment. He was 46 seconds into the lead of the race. And as we take a look at the standings, it means Max Verstappen is the championship leader with 37 points. Hamilton in second, Russell in third. Leclerc is down to fourth after winning the first race. And as we take a look at the constructors, it means Mercedes are at the top. Not Ferrari or Red Bull, but Mercedes. Ferrari and Red Bull both 15 points. That we're there on 7 in 7th place. So very nice for us. But anyway, that is all for now. If you have enjoyed, do make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more F1 content. But until next time, take care.